Hello everyone. Today we are going to work on Igor, the pet bat in the Munsters. I didn't think this would be the next part in my Munsters project, but I have just been wanting to try something, and it's going to be kind of like this little deal here. If I can hold it together, I'm going to kind of show you what he's going to do. He's going to be kind of going up and down like this. But then I've got to see that little wire gets disconnected. So anyway, he's going to be going up and down kind of like that, like you just saw him doing for a second. But I've got to work out all these little kinks to this little mechanism thing that I've got rigged up here. I saw this kind of on Facebook and Pinterest, and this is just like a little test run. I'm going to make it hopefully better to where it won't come apart, but once you crank the little crank, it's going to go up and down like he's flapping around in Grandpa's dungeon. And again, I didn't think I was going to be working on this because don't even have the house built, so it's like I don't even know how big my counter needs to be. This all here will be hidden under a table, so I've got to think about making a table today to make all this work. So we're going to build the table, and then this, pretending this is the tabletop, and it's just gonna, you won't see underneath there, so all you'll see is the little crank, and then he's gonna go up and down sort of like that. But I just got to get a lot of little things worked out here. And of course I've used a piece of paper just to kind of show myself how this will sort of look, but we're going to, of course, make him look like a real bat. So I'm super excited about this project. I can't wait to get it started. So let's get on with it. And I just got to get a few things out here, get all my supplies out, and then we'll finally get to work on it. Okay, so I have made this off camera, just a simple little box, and this is going to be the counter or the bar area that he stands behind, and he's got all his little potion bottles and stuff up here. So this is where Igor is going to be permanently, and he's just kind of, again, flap around the potion bottles. So this is our little countertop area, and that's where this little thingamabob here that I have made is going to go in, and then he will go through a little hole in the top and go up and down like this. So what I've got to do is basically remake all of that, but I've got a little bit better clothespin. This clothespin is just, again, my little test piece. This one's a little stouter, a little better made, sturdier. But anyway, I'm going to glue this in place because I don't know how well I'm going to be able to explain how I've done it, but you can just sort of see the wire. It goes across, down, through the clothespin, then bent down again, and you can sort of see the shape it's creating, and it just spins around when you turn it. And then this little wire is just hooked there with a little loop. I just bent a little loop in the end of it, and I just fed that through here, and then it just goes straight up. And then right up here I've got like this little eye hook. I don't know what you actually call it. It's like a little screw in little hook thing there, and it just helps support the wire. And then he's going through the top of he'll be going through the top there. So I got to put a hole in the but see, that wire came off, so it's not going to work. So when I get it fixed in here, I got to fix it to where this wire isn't going to come off of my little crank. So I'm sure nothing is making sense, but I thought if you could at least look at it as I'm fiddling with it, it might make sense. So I'm going to figure out, let me see. Okay, so I'm going to glue this. I know this needs to be glued in, but I also need to take one of these little screw-in things. I'm just going to take this one off of here, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on my new clothespin before I glue the clothespin into the counter. Okay, so now I've got that glued in there, and I've punched a hole, which it's a bit crooked, but I think it'll still work. I punched a hole going through the side and in through the metal piece here, and then I took one through the top, and it goes down through that little ring, and so that's where the wires will come out of the little countertop and the side of the counter. So now it's just pretty simple, just getting that little wire bent into the shape that it needs to be. And I know I need to look at this one probably to kind of see what it is exactly I'm doing. Okay, I think I've already made a mistake. Yes, I've definitely already made a mistake. Maybe, well, no, I don't know, maybe not. I have no idea what I'm doing, because it's one thing doing it like this, but this right here is not going to turn if it's going through the hole in the wall or in the side over here. See, how am I going to turn that if it's in a hole and going through that? So see, I'm kind of learning as I'm doing this. I think what I need to do is just go ahead and poke the wire, feed it through there, and then bend it, and then bend it. It's gonna do that little shape, kind of like a little wind-up toy box or a music box or something. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to give it a pretty sharp little bend. Later I'll come in and okay, so I'm definitely, oh man, I'm so bummed. I have definitely found something that's going to cause this to not work. So it will crank now, but it's going, this part's going to get in the way now because, let me see, that's supposed to drop down. So let me drop it down. That needs to go downward. It's just a little bit long, so I can't get it to come way down. It definitely is helping to have this. Okay, I think I have messed up. This is all too close to this part back here. It's not going to be able to turn because it's going to keep hitting that. So I do have sort of a simple thing that I can maybe do. I can put another clothespin just kind of on this one, and it'll kind of, like if I glue another one to it, it'll get it back here far enough to where this will have room to turn. So let me just go ahead and do that. I'm going to take this wire out and basically do this over top of this. So let me grab another clothespin. Okay, so I've got that done. I actually took half of that other clothespin out. I couldn't get it all the way out because it had already been hot glued in place. But I've backed up the new one to where it's not all the way against the back of the counter. And then this little hook thing that I screwed in, I think that's kind of unnecessary. That was just a support for the wire, but since that wire is going actually through the top of the counter, that top of the counter here will be the support, so it really didn't need that there, but I went ahead and put it there anyway. So I'm going to run my wire back in here and get it bent into the shape it needs to be in. Just do this and then bend it down like that. And then I'm going to straighten it up a little bit with my pliers. And then again, I've got to look at this one to see what in the world I'm doing. Alright, so then it comes out this way. I gotta make sure it's short enough to where when it goes. See, it's going to hit the back, so I've just got to make this bend a little bit shorter here. And I think that might be good. Yes, it turns, so I'm going to finish up this little bend that needs to be done here. I'm just going to kind of clean it up, make it a little sharper with this here, and then we'll figure out the next part. Alright, so I think that's got it. I'm hoping this is going to work. I want this to work so bad, so this is where I'm at. But again, you just kind of seen bending that wire through there to where it will do this. And I'm going to actually use maybe the exact same wire, unless I have the longer piece. But that little piece that I had already got out here, now it's going to be too short. I'm going to actually have to find me another piece real quick. Alright, so here's another piece of it. And then I'm just going to, how did I do this? Oh yeah, I'm just going to make a little loop. And I'm going to twist it. And then snip off that little piece there just so it don't get in the way. Alright, now we will, just making sure I've got it straight, and then it's going to go right up through there and through the tabletop or the countertop, and then we're going to feed that little loop onto this little silver wire, and then hopefully, okay, so that's not going to work. I'm going to have to do something to keep it. Alright, let's see. Yeah, it's wanting to get jammed up in there, so I'm going to have to put something here to keep it from going, like, let me see. That little green wire is wanting to go up in there, and it don't need to be, oh, here, I could do this. It's wanting to go up in here, and we don't want it up in here. We want it to stay down there like you see it. We don't want it going up here, and we definitely don't want it going up over this other side, or it'll be going off track. So I think if I glue a bead, I had a little bead here somewhere, but if I glue the bead, some of you are probably thinking, just get on with it. We're never going to get that done ourselves anyway, but I'm going to finish it real quick. I'm going to glue a little bead right here. Super glue me a bead onto this wire right there. And I'm going to do that, and then that will hopefully keep it from going up in here, because it's getting jammed when I want to turn it. And actually it goes pretty good if I turn it this direction, but I want to be able to turn it both directions. So okay, so I was going to put a bead right here on the corner and then right here on this corner, but I realized that it was going to be a pain, and if I super glued that in place with all the turning, it would eventually just pop it off. So I thought a glob of hot glue would hold better. So that little glob of hot glue there kind of goes all the way around that wire, and I feel like that'll be a better little stopper to keep this little wire attached once I get it up there. But I'm going to let that little glob dry so that this little green wire doesn't hook to it. And then once I get this green wire put on there, I'm going to go back and do the glob of glue over on that corner. So hopefully it'll force it to stay right between in the middle where that's going to be turning. And I just thought that would be better than the bead. Alrighty. You can sort of see the glob of hot glue on each side of that little green wire. So let's turn this. I have honestly not turned this yet. I'm hoping so bad that this works. I'm just wanting to make sure that green wire's straight up through there. But let's just see how it works. It's a little tight. What's it hitting? Something's hitting funny. It's okay. I think what I want to do is like that little glob of glue is hitting the safety pin, so I'm going to bend it out just a little bit back in here to where it's not hitting that. I might have bent that out too much. Let me see. Alright, something's wonky, but it is working. So if it's like sitting down here, I think it's working pretty darn good. There's something catching right when it makes that turn. I think it's okay. There's just something that I want to get that little kink worked out. Okay, I don't know. I'm just going to leave it. Let me go a little bit more. Oh, okay, there we go. I just had to adjust that wire. But that super glue worked, or not super glue, but that hot glue was the perfect thing to keep that green wire from sliding off. So that is so good. And so now the fun parts begin. We just get to make the bat himself. I'm going to do that off camera out of some clay, just the body part. And then I'll come back and we'll make the wings for him. And there's 2 holes in the countertop now, but I can hide that one with a bottle or something later on. So this is going to be so cute, which you can't really tell much about that wire going up and down at the moment, but I guess it'll do. What I should have done, I don't know how that's going to look. It's just going to look like he's kind of fluttering around. I don't know what it's going to look like, so I kind of can't wait. But I'm going to make me a little clay body real quick, and I'll quit rambling, and then we'll attach it to the wire. Alrighty, so here is the little bat, and I know you're probably thinking, that looks really odd, that don't look like a bat, but I hope that this will eventually look like a bat. I'm going to cut him some wings out of this black cotton fabric. And I'm telling you, if you look at the picture, that is basically the shape of the bat. And I will try to remember to post a picture here. If not, you'll see it at the end of the video. Or I guess you probably saw it at the beginning in the thumbnail, maybe. I'm not even at this point sure what I used for the thumbnail. But anyway, I'm going to cut out some just simple bat wings from this black fabric and glue them on here. And I'm going to paint him black. And then after I do that, I'm going to take some of this fur that I just used in my Gaston video, and I'm going to chop it up and make like a little flock, and I'm going to flock his wings and his body so he'll have sort of a little fuzzy texture. And I kind of like that this is a dark brown, because he'll be kind of black and kind of brown, so he'll have kind of a mixture of colors going on. Mostly that brown fur, but if you see through it at all, you'll see through to that black fabric. So he'll have a neat look to him. And then I'm going to make him some ears out of probably just like paper. But he's super tiny. I did bake this in the oven. He's made out of clay, of course. I don't know if did I just say that? I baked him in the oven, and I went ahead and stuck that wire through there so that once he's done here, he's still a little hot where I just got him out, but I'm going to pull that wire out so he'll have a little hole that will, be for that wire coming out of the counter. So I've got his little bat wings cut out, and I'm going to glue this little wire here just so later I can give it some shape so they're not just flopping straight down. So I just wanted to show that before I get it all glued together. And then of course he'll go in there like that. It looks like a worm with wings, but again, hopefully this will look good once it's done. So here's what I've got, and he's gonna kind of move around. Now the guy I've been seeing on the internet, he kind of puts a wire on each wing to where the wings actually flap. Mine's not going to be that technical and that fancy, but I think this is enough, and this is so cute. I can just see it, you know, how I can envision how it's going to look in the dungeon, and I think it's going to be pretty darn cute. I'm going to go ahead and paint him black, flock it with the fur, attach the ears, and I'm going to paint this little countertop thing here brown to look like some wood or something, and then later we will decorate the top with the chemistry set and all the bottles. I was doing good until I got to this, and now I'm looking at it thinking, what have I done? Of course, I've got to blow a lot of that flocking off of there so it won't look so crazy. I know it's probably going to look better when I knock a lot of that off, but I am just having to trust the process in this one here, because I'm just hoping this will look cute. I have no idea how this is going to look. I do have it painted brown. I'm going to add some detail to that with some of my little chalk here, and then drip down some black paint or something to make it look like some of his potions have spilt. But that part's looking pretty good. Now the bat looks like a hot mess, but you know, I'm just trusting it. I'm waiting for that glue to dry so I can knock off that bulkiness, and then we'll just see how it looks, but I'm just not sure. So I'm just about done, and to make his ears, I'm just going to take this gray. I don't know if I like the gray. Maybe I need to find my black, but anyway, gray or black, I'm going to color this cardstock and cut out the tiniest little ears that I can get out of it, and that's what's going to be his ear. And I can't find my teeny tiny little scissors, so I'm just going to have to do my best with these. These are the next smallest ones I've got. But I'm going to go grab the little bat and just get him some tiny little ears cut out from this and super glue those to his head. And I think that's about it. I don't have any bottles or anything to make the little chemist set today, but let me get his ears done and we'll check out where we're at. I got him done, and it looks really cute, but I got to show something here real quick. This is, of course, a project I did of a papaw of mine, like my great-grandfather, and there were these little jars that were on the shelf back there, right around in there, and I thought these are perfect, because if you look at the picture back here, at these little jars with labels, these are almost identical to those little jars. I mean, look at that. Holding that up in front, you almost can't even tell which one's a picture in the background and which one's the real little bottle. So those are perfect for this little countertop that I have made today. And of course, here is the countertop, and then it's hard to see the bat there, but there's the little bat. Now, I thought it was really funny that I borrowed the bottles from Grandpa Ferguson over here, and then Grandpa Ferguson also has this little countertop, which is so similar to what I have created for Grandpa Munster, almost the same thing. And I just thought that was so funny. I didn't even think of that until I was taking the bottles from that, and then I saw this and was remembered about this and was like, well, that's funny. So anyways, this is what I have come up with. Now here's how the back looks. I've got some green paint on the bottom to just make it look like something has spilt down there. As you can see, the bat looks really bat-like. I mean, he looks way better than what we were seeing just a few minutes ago. And then this is just so cute the way it works. He just kind of goes up and down. The little thing works really well. The hot glue did really good to keep that one little wire in place. So there's how that looks, and of course here it is from, you know, and the ones that I saw on Facebook and Pinterest and stuff, like I said, their little wings kind of go up and down, and they're much more fancy than what I've created here, but I think for what this is, it's pretty darn cute. And so I'm going to sit these little bottles across here. And I did put these labels on there. They didn't have the labels at first, but I added those. and I just scribbled some little words on there. They're not real words. I just made little scribbles, and I put clear fingernail polish over the label to make sure it stays on the bottle, and it kind of made the ink bleed, but then I thought it kind of made it look old, so I was okay with that. And then they're reading from a book, and I just sort of made a book. I used some gray or some purple construction paper and put it over a piece of foam board and kind of aged it up a little bit. So there's my little countertop for Grandpa's dungeon when that ever gets built. And then later on, I do want to get like a little chemistry set and add a few more pieces up here to make it look even neater. And then there's a little thing or two on the back I'm going to do later, like hide a few little Easter egg things back there. But I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.